Alright, so we've seen how to distort noise maps and how to make periodic noise maps. So now we're going to continue sort of modifying noise maps, but we'll do them in a slightly different way. Okay, so with distorting noise maps, you saw like you can take one noise map and use it to distort another one. Okay, but what you can also do with Houdini is because the system is so open, you can modify literally any parameter in any texture or map or whatever using another node. So which is what we're going to take a look at. Okay, so my setup here is like, since this is what I do in every lesson, I kind of just already made it. So I have a grid, I gave it some UV project, and I have an attribute prop. So what I'll do is I'll start off with just taking like a boxes node. And the nice thing is if you have a UV project connected, it will just show up. Like you don't need to do anything. And I'll make it 2 by 2. And what we want is we just want like the random value from the seed. Okay, so we'll take a random BRJ and just drop it in the middle. And so we have like, a random value here. Okay. So now what I can do is let's keep this to a side and let me take a unified noise static. Or let's also take like a turbulent noise so we can see it on both. So if I take the position here and I'll plug in the noise and I'll pick up original Perlin and I'll put in like a fit range unclamped and minus 0.5. So this is fine. So what you can do is you can also have like you can control roughness or like literally any of them. Okay, so if so let's say if I take this random BRJ and I'll put it through a fit range, and what I want to do is I just want to control the, let's try to control the roughness. Okay, so I'll just take this and I'll plug it into roughness. See, there you go. Okay, so what's happening is like based on the black and white values, the one that was the darkest is like the least rough, and then it kind of goes up from there. Or if you want to sort of control them a little bit more, you can do that. Or if you want like, and then if you change the random values here, so you'll get different results. So you can do pretty much anything that you want. Okay, or let's say if I want to control the frequency. So what I can do again is I'll just do a duplicate of this. The frequency is a vector. So we'll put this through a float to vector. Okay, so we'll take a float to vector. I'll plug this into all three. And then let's say if I take like the source is fine, and we'll say the destination we want is 1 to 5. Okay, and we'll plug that into frequency. So what you'll get is this. Okay, or let's try 1 to 15. So as you change this, the roughness changes, and then it also sort of, the scale of it also changes. Or if we come back here and let's say if we make it 4 by 4, see, so you'll get like, different results. If I get rid of the roughness, that will be interesting. Yeah, see, so you can pretty much just modify it any which way you want. Okay, now this is using boxes, but you can also control it using like a bounding box. Okay, so let's say if you have an X gradient or a Y gradient. So I can take a relative to bounding box. And what this will do is if I just connect it into color, it just extracts the bounding box of the object. So if you want like a single, X axis or Y axis from it, you take a vector to float. So this is the X, the Y won't be anything because there's no, height to this, and this is the Z. So what I can do is I can take the same thing over here and we'll replace it with the X axis. So connecting a gradient into frequency gives you like weird results, but it's not bad. It just like it looks a little strange. So if I take this and I plug it in there, see, it starts to look like that. Okay. So yeah, not the best result, but yeah, you can do stuff with it if you want. Okay. Or the simplest thing here is, let's say if I disconnect this and I just want to control the roughness as like a gradient. So I can, let's disconnect that. And we want to go from, let's say 0.2 to 0.9. So 0.08 to 0.9, and we'll plug that into roughness. See, so you'll get this. Okay, so it's like smooth here and then it becomes rough over there. So you can do stuff like this. So this is useful, like let's say if you want to show like land fading off into water. Okay, so you can do stuff like that. Okay, so that's as far as like the basics are concerned. So what we'll do is we'll do a project. Okay, so I made this, okay, which is I'm controlling a Worley noise based on like an X gradient. So I can essentially just generate cracks. So this is what we're going to take a look at. Okay, so this will give you an idea of what you can do with this. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to make it using a height field. Okay, because it's just easier and it's faster. Okay, so I'm going to take a height field. Well, it's not easier, but it's just faster. And take a height field warp. Yeah, so jump in, get rid of the height, get rid of the density. Take a bind export and create a mask. So the first thing we want is we want the bounding box in the Z axis. So take a vector to float, and you have the bounding box ready over here. So we'll just take this and we'll see, okay, this is fine. The X axis is fine. Okay, now to get started, we'll take a unified noise. So take a unified noise static, and the bounding box comes in there to position. Let's disconnect this, and that comes in here. So we have a noise map. Okay, now change this to Worley cellular. So you'll get this, and we'll get it to around 5. Yeah, so 5 should be fine. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is I don't know, I want to remove like the contrast completely. Like I just want like hard edges. So I'm going to take a fit range, and what I can do is I can just take this and I'm going to compress this down to like there. Yeah, so this is good. Okay, so this is what we basically want. Okay, so what we want to do essentially is we want to control the source minimum and source maximum, and we want to control it based on a gradient. So the idea is like the crack should be small over here and then they become bigger. Okay, or it's like it's completely flat here and then it sort of starts to form cracks. So the idea is like if I take this to 0 and like you bring it in smaller, then it just becomes like it disappears, and then as they increase you get like smaller and smaller cracks. So the idea is there should just be a little bit of a difference between these, but they should just like we get an increasing gradient to control it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the the bounding box and this vector to float that we've created, and we'll take 2 fit ranges to control the source minimum and the source maximum. So this comes in here, and we plug in the this into source minimum. See, so there you go, that's what we're getting. And then you do Control C, Control V, and this goes into source maximum. Yeah. So the idea is like, let's disconnect this. Let's make one of them first, and then we'll make the other one. Is let's say like if I disconnect this, what we want is, let's say we want to start at 0 and this should be 0.01, and then we want to end like here. So there's almost like no cracks. Okay. So this value goes from 0 to 0.62, and then the max value goes from like 0.01 to 0.66 or something like that. Okay, like we just want a difference around 0.1 or 0.2 between these two things. Okay, so the destination maximum over here, this will be 0 and this will be 0.6. So the idea is like between the minimum and the maximum there should be very little difference, so then you won't have any sort of smooth gradient over there. It'll just be like very sharp cracks. Okay, and then so let's call this minimum, and let's call this max. And what we'll do is I'm just going to take like this, we'll do right click, copy parameter, go to the max, to paste relative reference, we'll do plus 0.02. okay, and the same thing here. So right click, copy parameter, paste relative reference, and do plus 0.02. so this goes into minimum and this goes into maximum, and see, there you go. And then I want the same minimum maximum value to control this as well, so we'll connect those. So right click, do copy parameter, paste relative reference. There won't be any change here, so right click, copy parameter, and paste relative reference. So what this should do is when I start to lower this, see, or if I start to increase this, you'll get more cracks to form like that. See, what you can do is, if you don't want any kind of cracks over here, or let's increase this a little bit. What you can do is, instead of the 0 over here, I can go to minus 0.02. So then that disappears. And then if I just feed this through like a height field pattern, we can extrude this. Okay, so I'll just take this and plug it into both, and this goes to ramp, and like that, and make it 1. And if you check it, so you'll get a little bit of cracks forming like this. And then I can clear the mask. So there you go, we can clear it. Okay, now what you can do is, in the middle I can add like a small blur if I want. So I can just take a mask blur and just plug it over there. Okay, so this gives me the basic. Now what I want to do is, I also want to sort of just modify this or distort it a little bit. Okay, so we'll just take a turbulent noise. Okay, and this will also be position. And we'll add it to the existing position. So set this to 3D, and I'll just plug it in. There you go. Okay, like increase the turbulence, increase the roughness a little bit, and lower the amplitude. There you go, that looks nice. So if I come back here to my height field, see, so you get like these nice little cracks that are forming. Let's do one thing. I'm going to take the frequency and make it about 8. And this is not bad. So now, as a final thing is, the bounding box only goes from, like it's a gradient, you can't really control it. So what I want to do is, let's control it using a ramp. Okay, so then we can place the cracks wherever we want. Okay, because right now you can only go left to right or right to left. You don't have any other options. So what I can do is, I can just take a ramp. I'll take a ramp parameter. This will be spline, and let's call it shape. And this will control the fit range values. So this comes in here and there. And so what this will do now is, if I come in here and I'll set this to B-spline and B-spline, and then if I start to adjust this, see, so I can have cracks on both sides like that, and then nothing in the middle. There you go, see. Or if I kind of bring this down a little bit and just have like, so if you just want like minor cracks in the road, things like that, you can actually build them up like this. One thing that we can try to do is, we can try to distort the incoming noise map. Okay, which might be a little bit weird, but let's see if we can do that. So that instead of getting a straight line, if you want a slightly wavy line, we could probably do that. So what I can do is, let me take another turbulent noise. I'll plug it into position, and let's add it here. This will be original Perlin. We'll do a fit range. This will be a 3D noise. So minus 0.5 to plus 0.5. Okay. And very little amplitude. And we'll lower the frequency. Okay. And lower the roughness. And this feeds in here. Maybe not a smart idea. Let me just see. Yeah, see, so what's happening is the crack is sort of distorting. Yeah. So what's happening now is, like, if I adjust this, see, so the crack doesn't form in a very uniform fashion. You know, you can kind of adjust it like that. Or if I increase it here. Yeah, it's not the smoothest because I think the noise map is causing an issue. Yeah, I think it's a noise map issue. Let's keep it to 0. Let me just adjust the ramp. There are like far too many points here. Can I just reset this? No, okay, hold on. Yeah, just screw it. We're going to remove everything. Yeah, the noise map is causing issues. Let's make it 0 to 1. Yeah, I think that might be a better option. Let's try to increase the amplitude now. Yeah, I think this is better. Yeah, it adjusts more. Yeah, so don't do the fit range, like we'll get rid of the fit range. Or actually, no, I think the clamping is helping. Yeah, see, so the noise now breaks up in like different ways. And I haven't tried this properly, so I'm not sure if this is a smart way to do it. But yeah, you're getting like different, results out of it, which is always nice. Yeah, see, so now you can get like, different break patterns. Let's come in here, lower this down to 2. Yeah, okay. So 0 gives you like just a straight line. And then as you increase it, it starts to sort of, break up the, and you can try using different noise maps, see what you get. Okay, yeah, that breaks up a little too much. Okay, that's not bad. So the break pattern isn't like, entirely uniform. So yeah, adding the noise map is not necessary, but it does give you, interesting results at the end of it. So it's worth a shot, like you can try it out. So this gives you like potholes in the middle, which is not bad. Yeah, so like a really bad road. Okay. I can bring it down to 1, that might look nice. Yeah, there you go. I think a box blur is better. Yeah, and I can color it using like a simple visualize node. So I can take a height field, visualize, and just make it brown and like gray. Do compute range, and yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's like the standard stuff. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. Like this is what you can do, or this is more stuff that you can do to modify noise maps. Okay, so the next lesson we will, further modify noise maps, and we'll do some like mirroring and, just building random animations, okay, by mirroring noise maps. Okay, so something like the Rorschach effect. Okay, so we can do stuff like that. Okay, so that's what we'll take a look at in the next lesson.